In today's video, we're going to discuss the 6 things that will destroy your feminine energy, and I'm going to give you real examples from my own life. So let's start. Number 1, high amounts of stress. The first thing that will destroy your feminine energy is having too much stress in your life. Feminine energy is a very calm, relaxed, and worry-free type of energy by definition, and that kind of energy cannot thrive in a stressed body. Biologically, this is what stress does to us women. It messes up with our hormones, to which we are very sensitive, by releasing a lot of cortisone and other stress hormones that completely hijack our nervous system. So without realizing it activates our fight or flight response, because essentially the brain thinks it's in danger and it puts our body in an alert state. And that translates into behaviors that are not very feminine, such as, being snappy and easily irritated, annoyed, constantly worried, and unable to relax and appreciate simple and nice things in life. Stress also makes women who are already more prone to anxiety and depression more anxious and worried and less in the present moment and in the flow. Now, sometimes you have no control over the source of stress in your life, and in this case, you just do the best you can to stay connected to your femininity. But for the most part, the main source of stress that I personally experienced and observed in other women is their job. And here's the insight I got working for big corporations, small corporations, and working for myself as well. Most feminine women choose non-stressful jobs relative to average women, or they choose jobs that can be seasonally stressful, but not stressful all year round. They also choose jobs where they have more control over their schedule, if they work for themselves, for example, or a job that offers them some flexibility to take time off and go do other things to relax and recharge their batteries. Some ambitious women choose to manage their career in a smart way, so they go for stressful, highly demanding jobs in their early 20s and switch to a more relaxed career in their 30s. On the other hand, women like me who were completely clueless in their 20s, were all about the career and climbing the corporate ladder and going for highly demanding jobs, find themselves completely burned out by the time they are 30, and maybe with a couple of failed relationships or in an unhealthy relationship where they play the masculine role. Of course, there are exceptions to all of this. I can already see people in the comment section telling me, oh, I was very career oriented and I still managed to have a happy marriage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm very happy for anyone who made it work. But I'm not making those videos for, exceptions. I'm making those videos for everybody. If you work in a stressful environment and that level of stress is having a toll on your physical and psychological well-being, maybe it's time to think about your job and see if it is worth destroying your health and feminine energy for it, or at least become aware that stress is killing your femininity and develop a certain level of detachment towards your job. Number 2, suppressing your intuition. One of the ways I lost my own femininity was by constantly ignoring and suppressing my intuition and relying on my brains to make decisions and assessments in my life. I was raised to believe that rational thinking was superior to everything else, and that if you cannot prove something with logic and facts, it does not exist. And that belief caused me to suppress my intuition, especially when it was sending me warnings and screaming alarm bells to me. The more I ignored my feelings than used logic, the more robotic I became in my thinking and way of being, and the less feminine I was. I also got myself into trouble many times because I ignored my intuition, which was almost always right. Female intuition is a real thing. It has been proven scientifically that women have a higher or a superior ability to read other people's emotions. So when women do not use that ability, they cut themselves off a core part of their femininity. Number 3, being in survival mode. This is something I touched upon in a previous video, and I'm going to explain it again. For women to be able to sit comfortably in their femininity, they need to feel safe and secure. I came to this realization because there was a period of my life where I was in survival mode in relation to money. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and there were so many uncertainties in my life, and I remember attracting only low-value men at the time who were also in survival mode, so they did not help me feel or be any more feminine. In contrast, I could see that women who came across very feminine and very secure in their femininity were very safe and secure. And that's because they had a lot of stability in their life and they seemed to be well settled. Some of them were married to the right guys, some had high-paying jobs, and some came from wealthy backgrounds. But the common denominator was that they had no money problems whatsoever when it came to their day-to-day life. They had money or a source of money to meet at least their basic needs, and so they were able to relax and enjoy the present moment and be feminine. So if you find yourself in survival mode, know that it is undermining your femininity, and what you need to do is to address the source of worry that you have and get rid of it ASAP. Number 4, not having a self-care routine. Have you ever noticed how much better and how feminine you feel when you get your hair or your nail done, for example? I am sure every woman experienced that feeling before, and this tells us that there is a direct correlation between taking care of yourself and nurturing your femininity. The effect of self-care on your feminine energy is also compounded, whereby the more self-care you practice in your life, the more you believe you are deserving of it, the more accustomed you become to it, and the more femininity you radiate. Self-care really is key in maintaining and reinforcing your feminine energy. On the other hand, if you neglect this part of your life and you don't make self-care a priority, you're cutting yourself out of your feminine essence. Of course, you do not have to do a lot of things, or the things that you do not have to be very expensive in order for you to feel more feminine. The key is to make whatever self-care practice that you already enjoy into a habit and incorporate it into your daily routine. Number 5, dressing up masculine. This one is another psychological trick that I had to learn the hard way when I found out that the way I used to dress and the colors that I used to wear regularly were affecting me subconsciously and making me lean more into my masculine energy. When I was dressing up masculine, the clothes were leaving an imprint on my subconscious mind, and in this case, masculine clothes tell your subconscious mind that now you need to switch to your masculine energy and start getting things done. It's amazing how the subconscious responds so powerfully to such seemingly trivial things such as your clothes. And I'm not saying here that you should only wear skirts and pink colors for you to be in your feminine energy. In fact, you can maintain a high degree of femininity by incorporating some masculine pieces into your look, but by always balancing them out with other very feminine pieces such as high heels. For example, you can still be very feminine when you wear an oversized blazer with a nice belt that accentuates your body shape, or a colorful skirt. The idea is to keep a good balance between masculine and feminine styles. Number 6, keeping people in your life who kind of force you to be in your masculine. This is something I suffered from personally, where I could not sit in my femininity as long as certain people who were used to me being in my masculine were in my life. In my case, they were mostly male friends who knew me when I was very independent and very masculine, and it was nice for them to be around me because I was not high maintenance and they could expect me to be just like them. Those same guys would go out of their way for a feminine woman, by the way, just because she was feminine. Unfortunately, they could not adjust to my newly found femininity, and they had a hard time accepting it. So I realized I had no other choice but to cut them off my life in order to maintain my new standards and new boundaries. And same goes for you. If you are transitioning into being more feminine and some people are unable to meet you there, they may never accept you as you have become, and you're going to have a hard time keeping yourself into your feminine, and you may have to make a difficult choice. Thanks for watching.